Hello everyone. In this video we're going to be taking a look at an article from the New York Times. Now this was published on May 1st and is written by Matthew Haig and Connor Doherty. Now, I think this is complete fucking horseshit, alright? Because you know what? They're trying to treat this like the people who own property that people are renting from, alright, can just deal without getting their fucking rent. Alright, that they're not going to get fucked by it. All right, the fucking moves up the chain. They just don't want to admit it because you have people who are just average people who, like, say, maybe own a couple condo units or something like that. You know, they've managed to take and turn, you know, say they bought a condo to start out in, and then they move that into a rental property and they bought a home because they got married or something. Now they're renting out that property. They're considering it as an asset, and they basically just say have the rent covering the mortgage of that property. Now, they can't afford to say, hey, let someone live there rent fucking free while they got a mortgage of their own to pay and everything else to worry about. But they expect, these entitled fucking people expect even those types of people to just suck it up and basically keep a roof over their fucking sorry asses' heads. And I'm sorry, I feel bad for people if they can't make their fucking rent. But if you can't squirrel away a few dollars a week, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, every week I put a little bit of money aside, okay, for just in case. And it's come in handy several times with me doing that over the years. Why can't people do that? You know, put $20-$30 away a week. It's going to come in handy. If you do that over a year, you got some money to save your ass at some point. But anyway, let's look at this here. So, cancel rent is the new rallying cry for tenants. Landlords are alarmed. Yeah, because they're the ones that are going to lose their fucking properties. I would be alarmed too if I had, you know, a place that I was being kind enough to rent out to fucking someone who decided that they're going to just fucking crash there now. I mean, I would be a little bit alarmed too. That's putting it too nicely. I'd be fucking fuming for them to expect me to support their sorry ass. From New York to Los Angeles, tenant groups are encouraging millions of renters to withhold May rent, which landlords warn would be devastating. Yeah, because it would fuck people. Oh, it would fuck them over. But see, we got to worry about the people who pay rent. Well, you know what? If they saved up their money, squirreled a little away, maybe they'd have their own fucking, you know, condo or whatever else where they'd be living and paying a fucking mortgage. And then they'd be like, oh shit, I got to make my mortgage payment? And realize that they would lose their own fucking property. They don't care because it's not their property. As unemployment soars across the country, tenants' rights groups and community nonprofits have rallied around the audacious goal to persuade the government to halt rent and mortgage payments without back payment accruing for as long as the economy is battered by the Wu flu. Now, to me, that's complete bullshit. The government does not have the power to tell a private citizen that they cannot collect rent on their fucking property, or someone who's, because you could have an average person carrying, say, the second mortgage on a place, okay, saying that they can't get their fucking money out of the business and that they can't accrue the payments. I mean, that's complete fucking horseshit. Basically, what they're saying is you need to forgive them for those fucking months and expect those people to take a fucking wash on it. And that is so wrong. And it's ridiculous to expect someone who had the drive, initiative, and motive, okay, like on the note of, say, someone who's managed to buy a couple condo units and turn it into, you know, something more. Or like in the note of, say, Massachusetts, you have, you know, triplexes. We call them tenements, and, you know, especially in cities like in mill cities and stuff like that are in, like, or even New Hampshire, okay, because Manchester has tenements too. So does in Nashua and other places in New Hampshire. But you have tenements. They're like double-deckers, triple-deckers, quad units where you have, you know, 4 units, two, one on top of the other, and they're next to 2. But yeah, okay. So an average person can buy something like that. All right, and they're supposed to just take a wash on that and not have people who are living there pay their fucking rent, because that's what they're saying here. And then not only not pay it, not have to pay back rent on top of this, which is complete fucking horse shit. You're gonna live there rent free? Fuck off. If I was someone who, say, owned a triple decker, and someone wanted to do that, I'd be like, look, I feel bad of the situation right now, but fuck off. Either pay me or get the fuck out. And I might sound harsh. I might sound like a fucking scumbag. All right? I'm not a rich guy. I'm just a guy who understands that it's my fucking property, okay? And You're paying to live there. If you're not paying, you ain't living there. I mean, I have a heart, but this is a situation where I would need someone in there to pay the fucking rent so I could pay the goddamn mortgage. And that's what these people don't realize or don't care, because they think it's only big, evil, rich people who own fucking property. And they go, well, if they own the property, they can afford to pay all those expenses associated with it, like upkeep and the mortgage and everything else. Yeah. It's disgusting. The effort has been brewing on social media with the hashtag cancel rent and online video rallies, as well as a smattering of in-person protests, frequently held in cars to maintain social distancing. And of course, Crazy Eyes gets into this. Representative Alexandria Crazy Eyes Cortez, a New York Democrat, offered a fervent endorsement of the campaign, encouraging a progressive base to embrace a movement to upend the housing market. So basically, of course, the little commie bitch would expect, someone else to support these people. All right? I mean, shit, she managed to fucking sucker the American people into fucking supporting her useless ass. I mean, this I'm sorry, but this shit really chaps my ass. Seeing something like this, because they think that these are all large, rich property-owning people. They're not. A lot of the people that will be affected by this are average fucking people, okay, that, like I said, bought a condo unit, all right, moved on, and they've got that. Or they looked at it as investment properties, and they bought a couple condos, okay, and they've managed to just build up a few condos here, and they've got 2 or 3 condos. They've all got mortgages on them. The rents are being paid. The rents are paying the mortgages, and they're getting maybe a little bit of money to cover the upkeep and the condo fee and shit like that figured into the rent, okay? These aren't rich people. They're looking at a long-term investment, and they're expected to just say, okay, I'll let these people who don't want to pay me bend me over and fuck me up the ass. And it's not right. It's fucking ridiculous. It's not that it's impossible to do. It's not that we can't do it. Ms. Ocasio-Cortez said in a live video on her Facebook page on Monday, "We lack enough politicians with political will to actually help people who are tenants and actually help people who are mom and pop landlords." You're talking about fucking the mom and pop landlords, you dumb bitch. You want people to not pay their fucking rent, you dumb bitch. Those mom and pop landlords are going to get fucked. You don't care about them because you see them as the bourgeoisie. You see them as the people that should be lined up against the wall, like all the little fucking elites, you communist bitch. Who the hell are you kidding? She is such a sleazy scumbag. But in New York and other cities, landlords say they too are struggling to pay their bills, since many tenants have already been unable to pay rent. They call the advocates' efforts reckless and say that withholding rent will create cascading consequences, including leaving property owners without the means to pay mortgages and property taxes or maintain buildings. Yes, exactly. How the fuck are they supposed to manage to pay those things if they ain't getting their rent money? But no, Ocasio-Cortez and her ilk and these lefties little shitbags saying don't pay their rent, which I'm sure a lot of them that are pushing this shit on Twitter live in their mom's fucking basement. Or I'm sorry, might be still living in their same bedroom they grew up in at this point. But the point is, these people don't have real fucking lives. They don't have expenses. They don't have shit. And I'm sure they're the largest voices behind this besides the blue check marks who don't need to worry about this because a lot of them are financially set with their jobs because they're still fucking working because they're reporters and shit. I'm using a term there very loosely to describe them that doesn't actually do it because they're fucking hack activists, wannabe bullshit artists. But you get the point. Still, from New York to Kansas City to Los Angeles, groups are encouraging tenants to withhold payments on Friday, the due date for May rent, aiming to create pressure for an expansion of affordable housing and tenant-friendly legislation. Yeah, because the mom and pop landlord, okay, really is going to be, willing to fucking listen to that shit. Most mom and pop landlords tend to have reasonable fucking places that are being rented, all right? Yeah, they tend to be the cheaper ones, all right? I don't think, unless they're renting an immaculate fucking place, like with like expensive fucking appliances and all that other shit. Yeah, they're usually the more reasonable ones, even with some of the higher end stuff than you'd see in like a complex or whatever. But Yeah, they're going to be like in favor for this shit and have legislation that tells them they can only charge so much and stuff like that. That's worked real well with rent control in New York City. Whatever. To cancel rent and mortgage payments, the federal government would have to take sweeping and possibly unconstitutional intervention in the housing and financial markets, interceding in private contracts, and ordering banks and landlords to not collect money. Yes, exactly. It'd be fucking illegal, not to mention unconstitutional, but hey, whatever. You know, lefties don't give a fuck. They think the government can do whatever the fuck they want it to do. Anyway, while the prospect of this happening is low, the campaigns are less about pushing a particular piece of legislation and more about kindling a mass movement akin to the Occupy Wall Street protests that followed the 2008 financial crisis. Yeah, okay. Like, that's really going to end up doing that, but whatever. Rent is not being paid, and the organizing strategy is figuring out how we rally around that and politicize it for our benefit, said Tara Ragaver, director of the Homes Guarantee Campaign of People's Action, a national network of local advocacy organizations. Yeah, so basically, the whole left's adage, whether you're Democrat, like establishment type left, or lefty or leftist, or somewhere, anywhere between them, okay, never let a good crisis go to waste. Which is exactly what Raguvier, or whatever her name is, Tara here, is looking at. I mean, fucking scumbags. Groups from California to New York have amassed a sizable following of renters who say they will skip May rent. They have also received a boost from progressive members of Congress who introduced a cancel rent bill. Well, you know what? I seriously hope all these stupid fucks who choose not to pay their rent because they want to pocket the fucking money, because I'm sure that's what a lot of these people are that can pay it. I hope they're like living on the fucking streets because I hate to say it. I mean, I'm an understanding person. I feel bad for people who can't pay their fucking rent. But if you just choose not to pay it, I got no fucking sympathy for you. If you did that to me, I'd boot your fucking ass in an instant. I'd tell you to go fuck yourself. I would get a fucking eviction order and have a sheriff escort you off the fucking property. Because if you're going to be that arrogant, you deserve to get fucked by the law. If you're having problems and you want to go to the landlord and say, look, can we do something about my rent here, and maybe I pay as much as I can right now and we go from there? I mean, that's one thing. But to say, fuck you, I ain't paying, just because you can, because you've got this stupid thing to blame your stupidity on? Yeah, I'm sorry. No sympathy. It is a moment that people are literally rising up for real. Yeah, they're really rising up. Okay, but anyway. Rising up for real transformation in the housing market, said Sia Weaver, the campaign coordinator at Housing Justice for All, a New York group. Yeah, basically saying, yeah, we want free fucking rent, and we want it now. We want free rent. What do we want? We want free rent. When do we want it? Now. Yeah, okay, whatever. You fucking idiots. Oh my God. Though nascent, the movement has alarmed landlords, especially smaller property owners, who say that they, like many of their tenants, also survive month to month. Well, no shit. When government officials say, cancel rent, said Jay Martin, the executive director of Community Housing Improvement Program, which represents 4,000 New York City landlords, they are essentially saying that we are canceling the ability for you to pay the bills we are putting on you. Yeah, exactly. I mean, well said. Mr. Martin said that if tenants' rights organizers wanted to target a main driver of housing costs, they should encourage elected officials to cut property taxes. Oh, well, we can't do that in New York City because as they've kept driving more and more people out because they kept raising the taxes to fucking take up a deficit, they've fucked themselves, and right now they're at a point where they can't deal with lowering the taxes and waiting for people to come back into the fucking city. Which is why Cuomo needs to get his fucking ass bailed out on the note of the state itself, because he's done that statewide while his fucking dipshit, oh God, I know his fucking name, New York City's governor, mayor, why did I say governor? Fucking New York City's mayor, shit. I'm having a brain fart. But yeah, he ran that city into the ground. Cuomo ran the state into the fucking ground. And now they want federal money. They want people from like New Hampshire and Montana and shit like that who pay taxes to fucking bail their sorry asses out. But yeah, I mean, that's why they can't cut property tax. It's not going to happen. A recent report by New York City's Rent Guidelines Board said that about 30% of landlords' expenses for rent, regulated apartments, goes towards property tax. Yeah, so basically where you have rent control, Most of the rent goes to fucking covering a good chunk of it goes to covering property taxes. New York, which has more housing units than any place in the United States, is a city of renters. There are nearly 2.2 million rental units in the city. Mr. Martin said that no landlord he knows would want to evict a tenant in this country. Well, if they don't pay their fucking rent, I'd boot their ass out. I got no problems with that. I mean, I'd feel bad if they had a heartfelt story. I might try to work with them if they had an actual, issue. But a lot of these people go, I ain't going to pay my rent just because they don't want to pay their fucking rent. And they see a fucking excuse to get away with it. Landlords are being made the scapegoat for all the problems, he said. Joseph Strasberg, the president of Rent Stabilization Association, which represents 25,000 landlords in New York City, warned that a rent strike would create an economic housing pandemic. Yeah, it would, because you know what? You'd have a lot of apartment structures. You'd have them foreclosed on. Create another fucking real estate fucking situation. Like 2008. Yeah, real fucking smart. That'll go over real well right now, which is kind of what they want with the left. They want the fucking economy to implode. They want the housing market to fucking implode. Because then they can go, evil bad orange man, don't vote for him. Because they're fucking idiots. They think this is going to benefit them. But people are waking up to their authoritarian bullshit with what's going on with the current pandemic. Okay? You don't think when they're at home, they have nothing to fucking do. They see you pulling this shit. They're not going to realize that you're not having their best interests at heart? Come on now. The city and its residential housing landscape will crumble into an economic abyss worse than the 1970s when New York was the national poster child for urban blight, Mr. Strasberg said. Yeah, you're going to have a lot of fucking places that are just going to end up being foreclosed on. Shit like that. Yeah. It's going to it'll fuck the city. And they're saying, oh, let's not pay rent. Oh yeah. Let's not worry about the fact that, people will lose these buildings and then we'll have even less housing, but whatever. As bad as the economy is, rental payments in April were better than many landlords expected. As businesses laid off employees, property owners reported a steep drop in recent collections, with close to a third of tenants behind as of the first week of April. Could have been worse. According to a survey by the National Multifamily Housing Council, a trade group for big apartment owners. By month's end, after stimulus payments and unemployment checks started flowing, the nationwide non-payment rate was only 3 percentage points below where it was a year ago, which that's a good sign. Still, those numbers probably understate the stress, as various surveys show that landlords have deferred rent, offered concessions, or used security deposits to cover missed payments, and tenants have increasingly used credit cards to cover their bills. Well, those people, even though they're stupid for putting themselves in debt, you have to at least give them credit for fucking paying their own way. But I understand them having to use a credit card. Bad, vicious circle. Vincia Barber, 39, who lost her nanny job for a family in New York City, has decided to move to California during the Wu flu, said that she had decided to join the rent strike. Well, of course she had, because she doesn't want to pay rent right now. She's a poster child for what I was talking about. She pays $1,877 for a rent-stabilized apartment in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, that she shares with her 14-year-old daughter. There is mold growing on the bathroom walls, and they cannot open windows because of the stench of garbage behind the building, she said. Okay. Well, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe open it on garbage day? You chose to live there. You knew that was a consideration with the building. That doesn't give you the right to not fucking pay rent. You're making excuses for not paying rent right now. It's ridiculous. Something needs to change, Miss Barber said. If it's not now during the Wu flu epidemic, then I don't know what is going to take the governor and mayor to do something. Oh my God. Move out of where you're fucking living, you dumb bitch. If the mold is so bad and the smell of trash when you open the window back there is so bad, then move out. And another thing, if you opened the bathroom door after you take your fucking showers, okay, and let the friggin' bathroom air out, you wouldn't have mold. Because obviously you're probably closing the door or some shit after you take a shower. If you air the bathroom out, you're not going to have a fucking mold problem. Jesus Christ. She just has a fucking excuse. Rent strike or not, tens of millions of people will be under severe rent stress in May. They're getting $1,200 right now. Plus unemployment, they're each making an extra $600 a fucking week. If all these people have unemployment right now, I don't see them fucking stressing. What the hell are you talking about? You've got a $1,200 friggin' check. You've got $600 a week on top of their normal unemployment. People are doing fucking fine right now if they've got those things. They can pay their fucking rent. They just don't want to because that $1,200 is burning a hole in their fucking pocket and they want to go out and buy video games and stupid fucking shit. I'm sure a lot of them want to do that. And they're like, well, if I don't pay my rent, I can fucking piss through the $1,200. It's fucking ridiculous. I mean, I'm not saying all people, but a lot of these people who choose not to pay rent, it's a conscious choice. They could pay it if they wanted to. They just don't want to. Looking to rally people digitally on Thursday, the Action Center on Race and the Economy, which acts as a campaign hub for advocacy organizations, unveiled WeStrikeTogether.org, a website that will accumulate the various May rent strikes into a nationwide heat map. Oh, God. People who sign up will be directed to a list of resources and be routed to local housing organizations to try to build more support for the cancel rent campaign. Yeah, because you fucking commie fucks are assholes who think that regular fucking people should get fucked because you don't want to pay your fucking rent. You fucking scumbags. You people are fucking scumbags pushing this shit. How about, okay, it used to be, all right, now I was raised this way and previous generations were raised this way, but now it doesn't seem to be the case, okay? How about you take personal fucking responsibility, okay, for your actions, the things you do, the choices you make, and everything else. If you choose to rent a fucking place, okay, it's your responsibility to pay the fucking rent. I understand times are tough, but if you can't save away some money, this is what gets me is, okay, people laughed at the greatest fucking generation. Lived through the Great fucking Depression. Squirreled money away. These were the people who put money in their fucking mattresses. Okay, a lot of people who died from that generation, when people went through their things, they found money squirreled away like fucking nuts. Okay? In their homes and shit. When my grandmother passed away, we found money fucking squirreled in different places in the fucking house. Alright? They saved money because they knew that with the good times come the bad. But you see, we have this situation where you have the grasshopper and the ant. That's what it was, right? The grasshopper and the ant? I believe it was. That's what the old fable was. But the grasshopper sitting on his ass, not doing a fucking thing. That's what these people did. And now, they're fucked. And they expect everyone else to fucking support their sorry fucking asses when something comes up that no one had really any control over. And I'm sorry, but that's fucking wrong. And these assholes trying to exploit the situation, convincing these people that don't want to pay their fucking rent and take personal fucking responsibility to join their bullshit, to push their fucking leftist, communist, fucking socialist, Marxist crap is fucking wrong. These people are scumbag. Let's get these people to join our group. We'll push this even further. We'll get the AOC type shit going. Maybe she'll endorse it. Oh, she did. I mean, come on now, people. Grow the fuck up and take responsibility for yourselves. All right, I've made sure that my ass is covered right now. All right, I ain't making money off the content. I've had to, I work a real fucking job. Here I am. I've covered my ass. All right, cover your own. And I'm sorry if I sound like a dick or unfeeling or uncaring. I mean, I feel bad for people, but a lot of these people not paying rent, as I've said multiple times, they're choosing not to. They're fucking Bernie bro types and shit and lefties that like, oh, the government can take care of me. It's sick. The traditional definition of a rent strike is someone who is choosing not to pay for whatever reason. And we're defining it more broadly here to help people see that it is a political choice, not to help folks who can't pay rent. No, it's not. Said Maurice B.P. Weeks, co-executive director of the Action Center. Charities used to cover this shit. If someone couldn't pay their fucking rent, say, someone who had kids or whatever else, the local church or some other charity would step up and help them the fuck out. Now, we gotta have the government do it. Fucking assholes. It's not as if tenants have lacked support. The $2 trillion CARES Act distributed expanded unemployment insurance and the stimulus payments, along with aid to public housing providers and grants that states can use for rental assistance. Exactly. So you notice they leave this at the end because most people know that you're not going to make it to the end of an article. Like the average reader, they read the stuff at the beginning, so they put the most salacious, most politically expedient and information of that type. Stuff that's gonna get the reader, the propaganda, all that's gonna be up at the beginning. Stuff like this gets put at the end because they know most people aren't gonna read to this point. See, they don't want to talk about that. That CARES covered this shit. Still, tenant organizers and landlords are pushing for direct housing assistance. Well, of course they are. Representative Ilhan Omar, Democrat fucking brother marrying, hopefully she didn't fuck him even though she committed fraud with that fucking scumbag, of Minnesota, introduced the Rent and Mortgage Cancellation Act, which would relieve tenants of their obligation to pay rent, transfer mortgages to the federal government, and allow landlords to recoup their rent costs, but only if they agree to a vast new regulatory program that includes a rent freeze and the inability to collect back payments. Fuck you! I want to use the C word so bad right now. That's like the only word I was ever raised that I should never say. I just want to be like, fuck you, see you next Tuesday. She is a see you next Tuesday. You have to bow down to the government if you want the money that you're entitled to. And you have to suck my fucking huge... Oh, wait, I've been female circumcised, so I don't have a clit to suck. You have to sit there and look at the grotesque, deformed scar of what was there and like it. And you're going to do what I tell you. I mean, shit, this is the type of shit that she's saying. I mean, she wants people to suck her dick. I mean, and too bad she's female circumcised, I'm sure. But, yeah. Basically, this bitch, the shit she's pulled, how the fuck is she not under investigation and out of the fucking, out of fucking Congress? I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, I think I've made my point through this whole friggin' video. All right. I mean, I might be cruel, uncaring, whatever. If you see me that way, so be it. But I look at the fact that there are a lot of people out there that are fucked right now, that own property, and they're being expected to just bend over and fucking take it by lefties who think that they're people who got money. It's like certain members of one side of my family, it's like they got money. I know they got money. They got money. And it wasn't the fact that they wanted to get a handout or anything. It was the fact that they didn't like it if someone else had more than them or was better than them. Okay, better off financially than them. Okay, but these people, they got money. I know they got money. And they want to fucking palm that money and call it their own. They want to live in some place, someone else's home, someone else's property. They want to live there, rent fucking free. That's not how the real world works. They didn't prepare for this situation. They could have squirreled away $10, $20, $30 a week, $40 a week. We've had good times for a few years. That kind of adds up. Right now, they would have a decent chunk of change. I mean, you take $30 a week. 10 weeks. That's $300. Okay? That's $1,500 a year. So 2 years. If they've been doing that since 2016, they would have like $6,000 in the fucking bank. Okay? $6 fucking grand, which would come in handy right now. At $30 a fucking week. That would keep them going for a couple months, too. Easily. Until they got their unemployment and everything else to help cover their shit. Anyway, I've covered this well enough. I'm just going to leave things here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video, when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.